Li Shitong has lived twice in his life. How did he let go of everything? Became the later mage in red. I don't know how many people are like me. The first time I saw the name Li Shitong have a deep impression, it's because of a song that says goodbye to the pavilion. Fangao Billion Shan by the Ancient Road. The night wind blows the willow flute. Sunset Mountain Shnai Shan. And for a while I was obsessed with writing. Just copy the end of the sky repeatedly on white paper. Corner of the earth. A pot of turbid wine. Don't dream cold tonight. At that time, I can't quite understand what this song is about. But when you sing it out and write it out, there will be a little sadness in my heart. I always thought, that's the story of that era and those people. It turned out, in there, a lifetime that each of us can see. Life is rare to get together. Only leave more. This farewell was written by Li Shitong in 1915. This is from John. American songs composed by Pound Oldway, called Meng Zhenji's mother. More than 100 years have passed since then. But we will still be affected by the melody in it, deeply touched. Well, one time, singer Pusho sings a song in the recording studio. In the middle of singing, I suddenly burst into tears. Pusho said that if such lyrics were written by me, I could die immediately. I saw the news at the time. All of a sudden, I felt that Pusho was really good at literature and art. As a child, I listened to Farewell. I just thought it was catchy. But wait until you see Pusho's tears. I'm old enough to understand this song. The things behind the lyrics, those people are even more touching. Li Shitong was a famous genius in the Republic of China. He has another identity that is known to everyone, the Buddhist monk in red. Some people say that Li Shitong's life, it's like living someone else's 2 lifetimes. Fenghua genius in the first half of his life. He is Chinese oil, the originator of painting. He is the founder of Chinese drama art. He was the first Chinese to compose music with staff. Also a calligrapher, seal carver. He is an extremely rare generalist in the history of Chinese culture. Second half of life. This person named Li Shitong bid farewell to heaven and earth. Farewell to all sentient beings. Say goodbye to yourself. Become a cloud water monk. Into 2 worlds of joys and sorrows. Lifetime practice. His life was not long, in just 63 years. But after experiencing the graceful sun, romantic affairs, hermit monk triple identity, every life is lived thoroughly. How did he manage it? The painter Crazy Kai is a student of Mr. Li Shitong. Talk about your teacher. Feng Zikai said that human life can be divided into 3 layers. 1 layer is matter. The first floor is the spirit. The 3rd layer is the soul. And honest people are very fertile. Very strong feet. All the way to the 3rd floor. This is unimaginable for many people. In old age, on the portraits and photos left by the mage in red, that face, it will be hard to forget after seeing it. Very skinny. It's very rustic with a kind of gentle and severe. Stare at that face for a while. There's even a kind of permanence. Just a few smiles. Some people who have seen the mage in red will leave a biography in text. Say that even if you are impulsive and violent in front of him, the whole person will become peaceful. Just relax. So what was he really like? Why have this power? and this person named Li Shitong. How is it called Master Hongyi? There are so many famous monks in the world. Why is he remembered? We hope that in today's book can give you some clues. Sort it out according to the timeline. I put the life of Li Shitong summarized into 7 life stages. I hope to be able to pass these keywords. Help everyone step into his legend. The first is called wealth. Wealth in the village. Man is his origin. Second, the handsome boy of Shanghai Beach. The third, literary and artistic all-rounder Li Shitong. This is his master-teacher stage. Mr. Li from the 4th Normal School. He has done education. 5th, Tiger Pao Temple monk. Suddenly cut off from the first half of my life. 24 years as a mage in red. He was a man of the world for 39 years. 24 years as a foreign monk. The 7th is the intersection of compassion. Yanshui monk walks through his life. The note of life is 63 years old. So let's start at the beginning. October 23, 1880. Official cold dew season, and autumn rain has just stopped. The damp wind blowing from the Hish River, blowing into Liangdianhu Street on the east bank. No to Lujiashu Hutong. This place is where Li Shitong was born. What kind of family was he born into? It is the thin bloodline of the salt merchants rich. His father, Li Shijin, had a son from old age. So when this boy was born, it's the rich people in the rich village have a rosy future. There is a tripartite house in Jinmen's old family that relies on stone and water. The courtyard is full of green bricks, an old plum tree standing captive in the courtyard. The door is usually closed. The master and servant are waiting for the entrance and exit, which is the side door on the east side. The houses in the courtyard are 3 in the north. 3 rooms each in the east and west wings. It's called a triad structure. There is a temple at the east entrance of this alley. It's Jizoen. Then go further west. 3 rivers meet here. There is a small forest along the river. It is very famous in Tianjin. This is the location of the Li family's old house. Li Shitong's father, Li Shijin, the personal manager, is also very rich. The Li family was originally located in Pinghu County, later arrived in Tianjin, running a rock and money business. It's a very rich thing to do. Then Li Shijin was admitted as a scholar at the age of 43. Once entered the dynasty and watched. Get to know Li Hongshang well. Later, Li Shijin became an official and a business person, become the residents of Kinmen. That year, when the escort escorted the finance into the Li family bank, unloading in the cabinet in urban and rural areas, people in, people out. It's a lively scene. No one knows the same fight as the Li family. The local county chronicle is saying, after the Li family makes money, Li Seijin is one of the philanthropists. Public welfare organizations have been prepared. It's called Bezi. Every winter it takes in the homeless poor. Give them food, cotton-padded medicine. Some diehards will have a coffin. Let them be buried in peace. Li Shijin also led a new class in the local school. Let Korean children. You can change your destiny by reading books. So, the people of Tianjin at that time talked about Li Shijin. Don't talk about the big view, Li Shijin. Not to mention Li Shijin, the richest man, the Li de Shanran. This is the family of the blessed. What is Li Shizan's biggest regret? It's just that Zizi is thin. Zheng Zisao Demon, the second son, was born weak. I can't walk at the age of 2. So, Li Shijin was 66 years old. And that concubine? This is a 17-year-old girl. Second year of the royal family. Wang Shi gave birth to a boy. It was later Li Shitong. Legend has it that when Wang Shi gave birth to a child, there was a pine branch in the mouth of a magpie. Suddenly flew into the delivery room and then put this pine branch on the head of the mother's bed. And she screamed for a while. The magpies fly out. Growing up, Li Shotong make sure it happened. So he took the pine branch that the magpie left behind, carried for a lifetime, until he passed away in Chuanzhou. This pine branch still hangs on the wall of his room. At that time, he was old and had a son. Li Shitong is very much loved by his father, but the respect his father had for him, it lasted only 5 years. When Li Shitong was 5 years old, Father Li Shijin passed away. It was an autumn leaf, bright moon. The autumn insects in the garden sing softly. From the window floated the wooden fish. The sound of chanting is clear and melodious. The breathing of the old man in the house, accompanied by the sound of the Diamond Sutra sent by important monks, gradually faint and even silent. When my father died, no pain on the face. It's like entering a state of meditation. This is the scenario. To Li Shotong, who was only 5 years old at the time, left a deep impression. Li Hongzhang, a famous minister, presided over the funeral for Li Shijin. Lord Zhongtang saw this childish person in front of him. Angry 5-year-old, he praised and said that this son would be a genius in the future. Therefore, Li Jiaran is extremely high towards Li Shotong. 1 year later, under the strict supervision of his brother Li Wangxi, Li Shutong went to school for enlightenment, reading scriptures all day long. Your words and deeds are moderate. Friends and teachers are all scholars and celebrities in Tianjin. Li Shutong loved to read Dream of Red Mansion since he was a child. He started from a young age. The rise and fall of the 4 clans of Shi Wangsu. Realize the wealth and fame of the world, just fleeting. When he was 10 years old, just write a poem saying that life has death. Riches are like frost on grass. Look at a child who is clearly favored by fate. He seems to have everything, but let out such a sad sigh. His mother read the poem. I have a bad feeling. Because my mother doesn't understand the Jia Baiyu in the Dream of Red Mansions. Obviously, there is one. Fame and wealth arranged by the family. The path of Guangzhong Yaozu. But this child, he hated and betrayed the bright road, displaying a pot of ordinary indifference to his family. Escape at last. This terrified the mother. He's afraid of his children. Will also become another father. Treasured jade born of good and evil. Growing up, Li Shitong is tall and straight. He had mental illness in his brain. Poetry, Jin's painting and calligraphy, counseling, opera, and other rich and complex knowledge. But when you are rich, he is also wealthy. He never hides one's own obsession with worldly life. The young master is wearing a white robe. It needs to be matched with the purple Zhonglong's pipa gold vest. What he likes for himself is... You spend money without thinking. They have an accountant at home, sir. like Jinshi as much as he does. Every time this gentleman goes on a business trip, Li Shitong will ask him to say, "Buy a little more iron and come back. It doesn't matter if the price is expensive." Adult. Li Shitong wrote in a calligraphy article that at that time, the rules of their big family were very strict. Killed his childlike nature. It made him withdrawn and introverted, perverse. People gave him a nickname, Li Jie. This Li Gongzi spends money like money. Frequent access to Kalanvas. He personally recruited another gang, Conlin, named Yang Kuxi. I go to the field of this mingling every 3 or 5 days. The mother and second brother are particularly worried. I quickly found a marriage for him. So the woman also came from a rich tea merchant. Smart Hyonsuk. Knowledgeable. In the era when Li Shitong grew up, it was a time when China was in turmoil. Late 19th century, after China's defeat in the Sino-Japanese War, Kang Gui, Liang Qichao and others promoted the reform whip method. Li Shitong often reads newspapers. He is a knowledge reformer, also engraved as a seal. It is called Nan Hai King Jun History Wuxi. It means I want to learn from Kang Wu. Take him as a mentor. Then carry a seal. After the failed reform against his will, Tan Erythrino was killed. Kangwei and Liang Qichao had fled to Japan. This made Li Shitong very angry. He was fighting in the examination room of the imperial examinations. Of course, it fell off the list. Between the old and the new, Li Shitong seems out of place. At the age of 19, he made a decision. With his mother and wife, we arrived in Shanghai together. On the one hand, it's because the retreat failed. The political environment in the north is very repressive and chilling. Make him uncomfortable. The other year, his mother, the royal family, was his father's concubine. They have no status at home. Often receive marriage from other relatives. So Li Shitong has always had a wish. He wants to live alone with his mother. In 1898, Li Shitong bid farewell to Tianjin. He left the house with the Tiger Gate. Courtyard arrived at that time, the most prosperous southern metropolis in Asia, Shanghai. Shanghai is indeed a new trend. The environment here is relatively free. The common people dare to enter the market. Literati dare to gossip about the government and the newspapers. Here, Li Shitong is like a duck to water, immediately integrated into the new environment. Later, the Red Mage once said to student Madman K, "I spent 5 or 6 years between the ages of 20 and 26, the happiest moment of my life. And that was during my time in Shanghai." At this stage, Li Shitong rose to fame in Greater Shanghai. One year he served his mother, enjoying the warmth of family. The other year, he is studying in Nanyang. The head teacher of the school is Mr. Tsai Yuanpei. At school, Li Shitong lives alone in a room. Paintings and calligraphy hang on the walls. At that time, the classmate Huang Yanpei said at the meeting, "Everyone is happy to be close to Li Shitong. His demeanor is gentle." Progress. The literati read Li Shitong's article. "Seeing him again, there is nothing I don't like about him." At that time, the leader of Shanghai literary circles was Su Huanyuan. Just hit it off with Li Shitong. He even hoped being able to chat with Uncle Li day and night. Get along with Uncle Li and the same family. Please come to your own big villa. lived together in Qingnan, Caotong. Soon after, Li Shutong and Yuan Zilian from Baoshan, Zhao Xiaoxiang of Jiangwan, Jiang Yang's Jiang Xiaolu is like-minded, plus Su Huanyuan. 5 wise men became brothers. They took a photo together in the photo studio, and this picture still lives on. The name is Tianya Yu. This is also a good story in the literary world in Shanghai and what Shanghai. What does Li Shutong look like at this time? Gained great spiritual freedom. He has a certain pleasure in facing the camera. I saw him with a slender figure, dress in fashion. Yushu Lin extremely Feng. Free and easy, and his delicate face with bright eyes. This photo is a memento of his new life. During this period, Li Shutong has the support of Zhejiang Bank on the one hand, no problem in life. On the other hand, with like-minded talents, he lingers. Minji Li Pingsheng, who made friends in Shanghai, Zhu Haivai and other fireworks women, because confidant. Li Pingsheng is also a woman with a legendary experience. She used to be a good woman. Her parents treated her like pearls. But then I married the wrong person. The husband actually sold Li Pingsheng to the land of fireworks. Because of his good looks, soon became famous in Shanghai. Later, I made friends with Li Shutong. 2 people sing and very compatible. From a photo left by a teacher back then. Feng Zikai described Li Shutong's appearance back then. Said he had a velvet hat, a white jade is falling in the middle. Zhuang King vest painted short robe. Fat braids in the back. Bottom broken belt pin tube. Double beam platform shoes. Reincarnated very high. Handsome and knowing. He was really a first-class handsome boy in Shanghai at that time. Li Shutong's hot. The happiest days will come to an end. That was 1905. March 10th of this year. His mother, Mrs. Wang, died of lung disease. Died in Qingnan, Caotong. Only 46 years old. It was also in this year. The imperial examination system has been maintained for more than 1,300 years. The attempts of the children of traditional families became desperate. Since the Opium War, the door was forced to open. Unequal treaties and wars continue. At that time, China was really in motion. After his mother passed away, 26-year-old Li Shutong changed her name to Li Ai. The sorrow of Isim affected him particularly. Even after 20 years of marriage. Once I heard the great monk talk about the kindness of his parents. The red-clothed mage still couldn't help but stand in front of everyone, howling. In the same year, Li Shutong brought his relatives, helping his mother's uncle return to Tianjin by boat. Arrived in Tianjin, because the royal family is not a legitimate wife. In the Valley of the Kings, according to traditional rules. Li Shutong's second brother and relatives, I don't agree to put the royal family's spiritual uncle in the main hall of the house. This sparked a confrontation inspired by Li Shutong. Eventually his second brother gave in. The mother's rescue enters the old house, located in the center of the living room. And not only that, Li Shutong also held a new funeral for his mother. A reporter from the Tianjin Takung Pao at that time, 3 reports in a row. The theme of a civilized funeral. Reports say Li Shutong held a memorial service for his mother. Don't kiss its endless howling pottery field and cry. Only accept guests to send wreaths and evening curtains. Family only mourns this. Guest meeting bow is exempted. everything else. This had a great impact on the customs of Tianjin at that time. It can be seen that in that year, Li Shitong is someone who is ahead of his time. He doesn't think like most people. The autumn of this year, Li Shitong decided to study in Japan. Before execution, he wrote 20 articles about the Golden Donkey Canal saying Kim Hai Nai. After all, nothing is a sage. Books and literati together cannot save the country. So he's going to change. Li Shitong has been in Japan for 6 years. At first, he didn't apply directly for admission. They live in the International Student Association, tutoring Japanese and piano. Then, after finishing Japanese tutoring, he changed his name to Lian again. The bank of the river took a stage name, Shishwang, Rest West. White doubled this year. He was admitted to the oil painting department of the Tokyo School of Fine Arts, become the first batch of Chinese in Japan. People who learn oil painting. After living in Japan, Li Shitong gradually became very Japanese. He sleeps on tatami mats, eats sashimi. The rice ball is wearing a loose kimono. Pedal witnesses speak Japanese. A morning bath and tea. Speak in a low voice. Bend over when you see people. With this humble smile on his face. Just like a Japanese student. This is also a very important aspect of Li Shitong's character. He takes everything seriously. Be committed to whatever you do. What to do, like what? Where can I integrate into my current life? This caused a lot of changes in his life. And every transformation can be done to the extreme. Li Shitong studied very hard in Japan. He valued his time. There are some practices that we see now, not even close. Tell me one thing. The famous dramatist Ouyang Yukian. I had a relationship with Li Shitong in Japan. He only remembers one thing. Said that once Li Shitong made an appointment with Ouyang Yukian, said to meet at our house at 8 a.m. Traffic was very inconvenient at that time. Ouyang Yukian lives far away. It was a little late when he arrived at Li Shitong's house. As a result, Li Shitong opened the upstairs window. Tell Ouyang Yukian, my appointment with you is at 8 o'clock. It's been 5 minutes now. I'm out of time. See you another day. After saying that, he refused to meet him as soon as he closed the window. Ouyang Yuki also knew. This person's temper is to follow his words. So I had no choice but to go back. And many of you heard that story. I don't quite understand. Said this person had a weird temper. Genius always has some disagreements. Common sense behavior and behavior. This personality will also become part of his legend. While in Japan, Li Shitong soon started a new career in art, outcrop. He has participated in the White Horse Club exhibition in Japan twice. The White Horse Society was founded by a famous Japanese painter, oil painting group led by Kuroda Kiyoshi. An art exhibition is held every year and invited famous painters to participate in the exhibition. The level of the exhibition at that time, it represents the highest level of Japanese oil painting. Li Shitong's works. It is the only Chinese work that has been exhibited twice. You can see his talent. In addition to the achievements in painting, he also independently organized a program called Newspapers of Music Magazines. After the Japanese printing number, it will be sent back to China. Issued in Shanghai. Is the first music magazine in the history of our country. Li Shitong is in this newspaper. Introduced staff to the Chinese for the first time. to further promote Western composing methods for China, setting an example. And he was also very fond of theater, just like a group of like-minded students formed a theater group. This is the famous Chanlu Society. Chanlu Club has rehearsed and performed, according to Dumont novel, a play adapted by La Traviata. It's called the La Traviata ceremony. In the novel, heroine Margaret was a girl from a poor family. She unfortunately became Hongyi in Paris. Margaret hated this, the sad plight of the dusty woman. She longs for true love. Later, he met a rich young man named Busy, and they fell in love. Decided to form significant others, but it was opposed by the outside world. Margaret, as a weak woman, there is no way to break through the realm of class, and there was a sacrifice, died tragically in despair. La Traviata book. Our channel has also been shared. If you're interested, you can go and see it. Theater rehearsal is ready. Who will play the lead role? Camellia. At that time, many people thought it was inappropriate. Finally, Li Shitong decided to himself, come to him to play the camellia. Can a man treat a woman's performance as filial piety? In order to play the camellia girl well, Li Shitong replaced him. The artist's signature beard at the time, wearing a white floor-mopping dress, wearing curly hair. He looked for all kinds of things from pictorials, characters with different poses as a reference, dress up in the mirror in the room, wondering which gesture would best convey the camellia girl's character, and thought, wait until the day the play is on. Margaret in the play has a long body, wearing a French novel pink suit and a white floor-mopping dress. It feels light and graceful. Li Shitong uses superb acting skills, interprets the tragic fate of the camellia, earth-shattering winds, the establishment of Chanlu Society, and the performance of La Traviata for the Chinese drama industry. It was groundbreaking. He marks the traditional Chinese drama. Something big has happened. From then on, Chinese drama was born. Later, Chanlu Society also rehearsed a play. It's called Slave in Heaven. When the play was put on, Mr. Luzon is also studying in Japan. He also went to see This is the Life of Luzon and Li Shitong, the closest one. Some people will find it strange. Why did Li Shitong learn? Can learn well? And it can do the ultimate. What is his secret? I'm thinking it's not simple, because he's incredibly smart. All the geniuses. The most important characteristic is that he has a set of learning methods. There is that kind of research drive. Every time Li Shitong comes into contact with something, we'll figure it out first. How does this thing work? And then infer. So later he was painting, music, gold and stone seal carving and calligraphy are very intentional. This is because there is something in his character, inquisitive nature, including his pursuit of learning. Agent Root never tires of it. He feels happy. He's willing to constantly expand himself. It's very important. While in Japan, Li Shitong also met his Japanese wife. At that time, Li Shitong was taking a body sketching class at an art school. Then the school will invite mannequins back. One is a sturdy young Japanese man. There is also a slightly pudgy Japanese middle-aged woman. Li Shatong is very diligent. He always felt that the practice in class was still not enough. So after class, he hired himself a young woman. Be a mannequin. He also painted it and kept it, the only human bodywork of later generations. In this painting, a half-naked girl with a jade queen sits on a chair. I'm topless. I keep my eyes slightly closed. Li Shatong and the young mannequin gradually develop feelings. The two later became married. But it was very strange. In the manuscript left by Li Shatong himself, it seems that this Japanese lady has never been mentioned. What is it called? The writers who later wrote biographies of Li Shatong. Some call this lady Hongyi. Some call him Leaf, also called Chenze, but the woman's real name. So far, it's not exactly true. Li Shatong uses his Japanese wife as a model. This painting of the human body once participated in the art exhibition of Tokyo Art School. Later, when he returned home, brought this painting back as well. It's still in Young's study at his home in Tianjin. Hanged in the middle. This was a rarity that was passed down by relatives and friends at the time, because in the early 20th century, there's a nude painting of a human body, hanging it openly on the wall for people to enjoy. This is unprecedented. After several tosses and turns, this painting is missing, but very legendary. By 2011, the Central Academy of Fine Arts is organizing the warehouse. Accidentally found this half-naked female portrait, and it has been identified. It's really true back then, traced back to 1911. Li Shatong graduated from Tokyo Yishu School. He brought his Japanese wife back to China, then arranged for the Japanese wife to live in Shanghai. He returned to his home in Tianjin, served as a graphic teacher at the Upright Higher School of Industry. From then on, he began his educational career. This time, back to Tianjin, between Li Shatong and his second brother Wangxi. There were some tensions. Li Shatong believes that the second brother is more utilitarian. There is a suspicion of Pan Quan's wealth. He told his second brother the truth. Wangxi also has some dissatisfaction with Li Shatong. I think this brother only cares about literature and art. Do not value money, spend time and drink. He also gently reminded Li Shatong. But the brothers didn't know it at this time. The wealth of the Li family will soon vanish. That was after the Xinhai Revolution. Chinese polity. There was turbulence. With the decline of Qingjin salt industry and Qianzhuang, Li Jia first made all 500,000 silver dollars at a loss in a few days. The economy's getting worse and worse. Li Jia's other one, the Qianzhuang Tongfengrun, was also wiped out. Later, Li Jia, except for 2 houses, lost all assets. Once in Golden Gate, the once prominent giant family Tongde Ligia, swallowed by the waves of the times. The book says that Tongde Ligia went bankrupt. The greatest blow to the second brother Wangxi. After taking over Li Jia's economy, he tried his best to hold on. Li Jia's wealth was preserved. Sudden family decline. It hit him hard. Almost killed him. Fortunately, Wangxi has studied traditional Chinese medicine for many years. Already listed to practice medicine. His medical skills are excellent, homely and kind. Life goes on. Just from a giant woman to a well-off. Suffering. He was very upset. But it has always been gold. Like Li Shatong of Dung. It wasn't emotionally impacted. Instead, it made him focus more on artistic creation, finding the immortality of life in art. Li Shitong feels relaxed and happy about this. After the decline of the family, Li Shitong is gone. Life is more serious, teaching harder, although dress modestly, but live more realistically, more practical and dignified. Regarding this paragraph in the book, I don't quite agree. In my opinion, the reason why you can only pursue what you love, it's because of the brother behind him. I'm doing my best to support him. His life is very lofty and ungrounded. Someone carried the weight for him. And it wasn't bankruptcy that made Li Shitong. Of course, legendary people have their strengths. For Li Shitong, bankruptcy is just another upheaval in his life. This upheaval casts the shadow of the times. The end of the Qing dynasty became the beginning of the Republic of China, the rich boy of yesteryear. From then on, he was reduced to a poor teacher. And that happens in lots of people and lots of families. The unfolding story. But Li Shitong's attitude is very different. He took it lightly. Except, that's something most people can't do. So it's not about suffering or suffering. You will definitely be able to create a legend. Rather, Li Shitong is in misery. Made a different choice. That's what makes a difference. On the eve of the Spring Festival in 1912, Li Shitong left Tianjin to Shanghai. This walk until he finally originates in Quanzhou. 30 years. He never came back. This time back in Shanghai, Li Shitong is 32 years old. He first went to work for a newspaper. Then the newspaper went out of business. August 1912. Li Shitong came to Hangzhou at Zhejiang First Normal School. Real name teaching in Zhejiang 2-level normal school. He has been teaching in Hangzhou for nearly 7 years. This is Li Shitong. During the journey of life after leaving Tianjin, the longest stop. These 7 years are also his cultural heritage. The most abundant time. Li Shitong has just arrived at Zhejiang First Division as an art and music teacher. The school at that time, teachers and students agree. Music and pictures are essential for future job search. Making money is useless. So think of these subjects as replicas. There is only 1 class hour per week. Just this 1 class hour. People don't pay attention. Call it a game lesson. Of course, this is a very utilitarian educational attitude. Until today. Some people are very utilitarian. So the newcomer, Li Shitong, they weren't valued as much in normal schools. He often plays the piano in the music classroom, or a small shell within yourself, oil painting in the city. This is already the beginning of the Republic of China. There is a lot of modern civilization and ideas passed in. Some famous teachers from the past. What do you like to steal? Land of fireworks, Doreen or good south wind. That used to be the case. But now, there's transplant resistance. This time, start to reflect on what you have done in the past. The moral cleanliness in his bones began to show. The sages he read when he was a child. It ferments out in the body. So he suddenly felt himself. There have been various hunting raids in the past. He was ashamed of it. So after being a teacher, Li Shitong feels that his virtue is at a loss. In order to better teach and educate people, he began to cultivate his morals. From now on, this Mr. Li, it becomes one. People who are very strict with themselves. Li Shitong's first music class to Feng Si Kai, who was 17 at the time, left a deep impression. Students are interested in this. The new teacher, Li, has heard of it. Know that he was born into wealth. We had sheep. Everyone walks into the classroom. I found that Mr. Li was very tall, selling gray ruff, cloth robe, black cloth coat. Cloth-soled shoes and gold-rimmed glasses have also been changed. It's a black wire-rimmed eye, but his clothes fit well. The color is also very correct. He has a kind of simple charm when he sits on the podium. This is Li Shitong in the eyes of the students. He was in kinmen with Li Shitong, the son of the giant mansion, and Li Shitong, who is famous in the household. And Li Shitong, who is an international student in Japan. It's completely different. What is it like to be a student for Li Shitong? Let's talk about Mr. Li's class. When the school bell rings, he stood up and bowed deeply. Then he called out the names of most of his classmates. He often looks at his watch in class in order to make the class follow his lesson plan. Very precise unfolding. Don't waste a minute. Li Shitong uses this attitude to teach music. Let the students dare not underestimate the music class. It's what they thought it was. Game subjects. More serious than any other subject. Students are called, Uncle Li is our Mr. Li. Everyone will be in awe when they see him. People will say they don't know how to do it. Mr. Li doesn't scold students easily. But I didn't dare to speak loudly in front of him. He has a special temperament called warm and standing. You see, wonderful combination in this person. I think it's a kind of spiritual energy. At that time, there is only one way to learn traditional Chinese painting. Just copy the painting posts. Someone else drew a picture, and the student copies it. But Li Shitong is unwilling to teach this way. He pioneered life-drawn classes. Interior sketching is the painter Gao He model. One day, Li Shitong hired a man to act as a mannequin. As a result, as soon as the students entered the classroom, found a naked man sitting here. All surprised. It was a very big deal at the time. Li Shitong is the first nude model in China for a painting class. So how do you do it outside of poetry? Students with tools go to Westlake or other scenic spots to paint scenery. At that time, people don't know what outdoor negotiation is. So the police see these people holding some tools and drawing paper smeared against the West Lake. I thought these people were mapping privately. Topography and landforms. Must be a spy. It's not allowed. So I almost took the students away. Then I got to the police station. The students had to squeeze the paint out, cover up what is sketching. The police just let the students go. Therefore, many of Li Shitong's behaviors, it's very avant-garde. The man who worked with him said. Before Li Shitong came, picture music is something students never pay attention to. But after Mr. Li taught, these subjects suddenly became important, and almost all the primary school students' attention. Half attracted. Because Li Shitong's influence is very strong. Just mention his name. The whole school is full of teachers and students. His classmates were in awe of him. You say severe. He was polite. You said he was polite. Sometimes he's not very talkative, although full of kindness. But I'm always a little nervous when I see him. Feng Zikai remembers it very clearly. One summer evening, Mr. Li stopped him, with the kind tone of the clothes, said a few words to him. What are you talking about? Just praise him for saying that you have a talent for painting. It was these few words that defined the life of Mad K. Let him paint from now on, as my life's work. Li Shatong has taught many famous students. Chinese painting master Pan Tianshou was also one of his students. Once Pan Tianshou lost a sweater, Li Shatong said that he stole hair during class. If the person in charge doesn't return Pan Tianshou's sweater, I will go on a hunger strike. Swear to death to train education. Everybody knows that. Mr. Li never tells a lie. Whatever he says must be lived up to. So everyone was afraid that he would actually go on a hunger strike. Later the sweater, he quietly returned to Pan Tianshou's hands. This is what Li Shatong thinks when I do anything. Teaching and research must come out. And education is driven by the power of personality. Then among Li Shatong's students, there is also a man named Liu Jieping. This person is important. Li Shatong was teaching music class. I found this student named Yu Jieping very talented. Just keep encouraging him that you have to persevere. You will definitely achieve something in music. Later, Liu Jieping studied in Japan, specializing in music. But their family is very poor. No way to pay tuition. Li Shatong promised him not to worry about tuition fees. I'll take care of your tuition. You go to study. But at that time, Li Shatong's own family was also bankrupt. His salary is very small, and one of Li Shatong's wages will be sent back to Tianjin. His Chinese wife. I also need to keep a copy and send it back to the Japanese wife in Shanghai. He himself is in Hangzhou. I also need to leave some food and clothing for daily swimming. So, Li Shatong saves money from between his teeth. Save $20 a month to sponsor their own students. Yu Jieping is studying in Japan, so he brought. The people around you are very sincere. When handing in the book in Hangzhou, Li Shatong returns to his home in Shanghai twice a month. But he didn't come home in the winter of 1916. Instead, I went to Hupao Temple in Hangzhou. Before departure, Li Shatong told Xia Misun that he has asked the school for 10 days of annual leave, 2-week test drive. Why do you need more than 20 days? He decided to go to Hupao Temple to fast for 20 days. During this period, Li Shatong did not see any relatives or friends. I didn't open any letters. He doesn't ask about any death. Decline all conversation. Later, Li Shatong said in his diary, 3 weeks before and after this fasting, the first week gradually shows complete discomfort. The second week, eat everything except water. Third week, reverse the order of the first week. Start with Jiutang and gradually increase your food intake. Restore to constant. After going through this fasting, Li Shatong thinks the effect is very good. His spirits were very uplifting. After experimenting with corpses, Li Shatong changed his name to Li Ying. He wanted to return to the safety of his baby. State of innocence. After going back to school, he still teaches, still writing. On the surface, it doesn't look like much has changed. But he went vegan, and in his letters to friends and students, I'll reveal an idea. He wanted to go to the mountains to learn Buddhism. From now on, although Li Shitong continued to attend classes at school, but people around me are gradually realizing changes in him. I think he might really want to become a monk. Actually, since Li Shitong had this idea, he hasn't changed. He had wanted to enter the mountain earlier, just waiting for a chance. What is this opportunity? It is he who has to wait for his student, Liu Jieping, returning from studying in Japan. In March 1918, in a letter from Li Shitong to Liu Jieping, write like this: the tuition fee required until graduation, about 1,000 yuan in daily gold. That's what you probably need for school. It's $1,000. Then Li Shitong found a way to borrow it. See if you can make up for this tuition fee. Why is that? Because although Yu cultivates the meditation device, I will never tolerate Ji Jun to drop out of school. This Tang can borrow from Jishanru. It cannot be borrowed from the location where the still-holding army graduated. You can study with peace of mind in the future. Things are filtering. He's talking about you studying with peace of mind. Don't worry, because I will definitely keep my promise. After you finish school, I will always support you. Li Shitong has always done what he says. In July 1918, Yu Jieping finally completed his studies and returned to China. Li Shitong immediately tendered his resignation to the school and set the date for his entry into the mountain. Before leaving school, he cooked all kinds of vulgar dishes. Bring your own various collections. They were given away separately, including my own paintings. Seal ink, paper inkstone sad post, and his collection of calligraphy and paintings, folding fan, gold watch, all given to friends. I only kept some coarse clothes and daily necessities. The reason why Li Shitong became a monk? So far, so much has been said. At that time, he felt that there was no need to explain to the world. I think people will forget about him over time, so it's not important. But to this day, the mage in red is still hanging, a bright moon in the hearts of the world. Why on earth did he become a monk? We can only guess. But there was nothing sloppy about his actions. On the day he left school to get married, Zhang Mizon and a group of disciples surrounded each other. Retained. Thank you. There are those who'd say goodbye, and everybody was very excited. Li Shitong smiled and put his hands together and bowed. Then say to the tearful lower Zun, thank you for stopping everyone here. So alarm everyone. Don't dare to be a book boy. And they wept, looking at the man in the hot sun wearing a long gray linen shirt, wear black cloth shoes. The tall figure of the beast wearing a straw hat gradually faded away, disappear from sight. 1 month later, Li Shitong took refuge in the Tiger Robe Temple. Another 2 months passed. He shaved at Lingjian Temple. Officially start practicing. Dharma name Acton Yin. French number red coat. That's how the starlit artist of the early 20th century. The pioneer of the enlightenment of modern Chinese art. Li Shitong, who is about to celebrate his 39th birthday, on the eve of the May 4th movement, cut off the dust of the world, resolutely convert to Buddhism. fresh from now on. From a Fenghua genius to a Yunshui monk. Started his study of Buddhism. The second half of Pudu's life. Then we will be surprised to find out. Li Shitong is going to be a monk. His Japanese wife didn't know it before. When he got's gonna do. Very shocked. He and Li Shitong's friends have a total of 3 people come to Hangzhou. Find Li Shitong, who was practicing in the temple at that time. Begging to see you again. Li Shitong was already at Xingyi Cloth Shoe at that time, dressed as a monk. Then 3 people were in a small restaurant. Sit and watch each other, silent. Then Li Shitong comforted his Japanese wife by saying, "So you're studying medicine? You have the skills. If you return to Japan, you will not lose your job." And he got up and he left, crying behind. But Li Shitong didn't look back. After that time in the house, the book boy only has the red mage. From the perspective of this Japanese lady, it may be difficult to understand Li Shitong's choice. It's a cruel separation. I think of Cal's Wekinen. A Dream of Red Mansions describes a type of person, said they were born with a denying and evil. And what does that mean? They are extremely talented. Link Shu Juni. But eccentric? Not so kind. You can't use common sense. You extrapolate ordinary people from what they think. If such people are born into a wealthy family, it's infatuation. So born into a poor family of poetry and books, just for a lifetime of masters, if you sing, you can become a lord. You can become a monk. So think about it. The people in the book, it may be a portrayal of true events. Li Shitong is such a person. I used to have these 3 words about life. I don't really understand it. Why are you always talking about Li Shitong's desire for life? The desire of this desire. What on earth is he talking about? I suddenly understood. Maybe there is such a person in this world. Whether he is Siddhartha or Li Shitong, they seem to came with a different mission. They have great divinity. Therefore, once such a person awakens, he will not be disturbed by any factors. He will be determined to pursue the ultimate wisdom. He's not what we thought. After reading this book, we will find that it's not easy being a monk. After Li Shitong became a mage in red, the practice he chose was painstaking. Green sect. That means there are the strictest laws. The most complete abandonment of matter. Use the body and mind of the most pure and alkaline to take on the strong will to search for the meaning of the universe. This is actually in line with Li Shitong's standards of life. Just either don't do it thoroughly. Li Shitong said, to become a monk is to obey the Buddhist precepts. Commandments are the norm of keeping the heart and the body. The most important prerequisite for pursuing counseling is abstinence. He is every monk. Strictly demand yourself in terms of food, clothing, housing, Buddhist and transportation. Monks who do not strictly observe the precepts, talking about profound concentration and great wisdom. Just a bunch of lies. So in the last 24 years of life, we can't call him Li Shitong anymore. We can only call him Master Hongyi. He put his whole heart into it. We're invested in the study of Buddhism. Master Hongyi wrote and revised Symbol of Quartet Bhikkhu. This book is very niche, but this book changed the pattern of Chinese monk signs. let the lost Nanshan Green sect for 700 years continued. You could say, let the Buddhist practice atmosphere at that time be correct. Until now, all the monks are using this book as a commandment. So, the red-clothed mage is a rare green sect in Buddhism, and the dual cultivator of the Pure Land sect. Many people become monks in search of liberation. But Li Shatong became a monk and became a mage in red, in pursuit of, and for that he could endure very harsh discipline, including eating everything unsalted, no lights at night, no Buddhist books, no reading, no small talk. Keep it when you do it. This life is very hard. Broken mattress. He has been using the broken towel for many years. A broken umbrella. The injection thread is replenished again. Eating very simple vegetables. Eat more than 2 dishes. And Master Hongyi Lux is not an abbot. No disciples, no temple. But in times of crisis, he came out twice, Hoover. Vow to martyrdom without regrets. His disciple Feng Zai Kai once said, I admire the Master in red. It's because he's a very human person. You see what the monk said? He's not talking about things we don't understand. Very mysterious truth. And precisely because he was so human, he is a man who seeks the truth. For literature and art, he is learning to nourish sperm. Being a person also does something like author time. When you are a young master, you are suave. When I was an international student, I was full of young. As a teacher, teach by example. Convincing students with talent and personality. Cultivate so many talents. Now as a monk, he also keeps the precepts strictly because it's so pure. The red-clothed mage is regarded as the 11th patriarch of the Green sect. There's a 10-year time horizon. Red clothes retreat at Qingfu Temple in Yongzhia, Wensu. The ancient book of blue lanterns is lonely forever, because I have witnessed the wonders of the world. The ethos and practice of many monks, not as good as before. 10 years later, Hongyi office official. He travels everywhere, lecture mechanics, disseminate the Dharma with good knowledge, save the hearts of the world. But there are more speeches. He felt like he had degenerated into a social monk. I was filled with remorse. In his later years, he was already venerated as an eminent monk, but he confessed in public during his speech. Said he was as depraved as a beast. And that self-examination is harsh. No one is more demanding of him than himself. At the age of 58, the mage in red gave himself a name, called the Old Man. What do you mean? Adults don't know how effective education is before they get old. It's a realm. That is, people strive for success in everything they do. He wants to fail. Say it's because of this that you feel ashamed. To sustain the economy. So, failure helps me. The words of the poet Li Xingyin. Night love on earth. The mage in red likes it very much. Therefore, he sometimes refers to himself as late. The old man Qing thought the color of the sunset was beautiful. And in one's life, the Yellow Flower Festival is the most important. So that commandment, that detail should be adhered to until the last second. In his life, there is only one exception. It's because of student Liu Jieping. That time, the mage in red boarded the ship and went north to Xi'an. He was in poor health at the time. He wrote to Liu Jieping, "Tell him your itinerary. also left a will. Yu Zhaiping was very anxious after seeing this letter. Rushed to the pier. That boat is about to leave. Liu Zhaiping hurriedly boarded the boat to find the red-clothed mage. I advised this teacher to get off the ship and rest for treatment. Of course, the red shirt refused. He kept his word, unequivocally. But Liu Zhaiping supported his teacher as his parents. Can't bear the suffering of the mage. Just like the mages couldn't bear it back then, the heart threw him in Japan regardless. Liu Zhaiping made his own decision, carried his Mr. Li on his back, whether he wants to or not, straight off the boat, back to the shore. Did not stand firm. The two of them hugged and cried. It's the friendship between these two people. In old age, Master Hongyi thinks, winter is so cold. But according to the commandments of the law, the clothes on the body cannot exceed 3 pieces. Liu Zhaiping still couldn't bear it. I bought a camel sweater and pants for the teacher. Every time Liu Zhaiping supported him, Hongyi replied to him with a few words. Tell Liu Zhaiping that you will sell it for money to support yourself. As long as the words of the early years of the red shirt spread out. Loyang paper is already expensive. The words on a piece of paper are regarded as treasures by everyone. Everyone collects. After he became a monk, more famous, there are many people who come to ask for words. There is a disciple who converted to him named the Qingyan. I often feel a pity, saying that people come to ask for words, not to find the law. When the red shirt laughed and said that myself was a law abode, there is no need for national distinctions. Just don't be discriminating. As long as everyone likes it, I will give it to him. Liu Zhaiping, just because he talked to the teacher, so many years of communication, he has the words of the Prime Minister's red mage in his hand. But he never sold a pair in his life. In times of war, the coffins of 3 people in their home, none of them survived. But the word has stayed intact. Liu Zhaiping encountered criticism a certain year. Then they asked him to hand over the words. Liu Zhaiping said that life is small. One touch is big. At that time, the mage was no longer there, but these ink treasures he left behind. It is the most important thing for Liu Zhaiping. Bigger than life. He said there are hundreds of millions of people in China. Why don't you miss me? But there is only one red mage in the world. Very touching. After the Lugu Bridge incident in 1937, China is at war. People from the Buddhist border have participated in national salvation one after another. The red mage is also an eminent monk who sacrificed his life for martyrdom. In a national disaster, he was not immersed in a personal practice. He worries about the country and the people. Proposed the concept of recalling Buddha and not forgetting to save the country. Also, for many people at that time, bring spiritual comfort and support. Established in August 1942, the red-clothed mage lives in the Fuling Temple in Xinjiang. He seemed to have a premonition. Start to calmly arrange your own affairs. Include every detail. I hope everything is simple after death. Demand that his body be taken. Only wear a pair of shabby shorts. Send to cremation. A few days before the origin. Mages don't eat much anymore. But still writing. And he wrote down a reminder. After he fell in love, remember to add water to the bowl in Tiankanjiao, lest ants enter, so as not to incinerate, harm the innocent lives of ants. To cherish the life of all things. In early September, the mage in red took it from a scripture. Take out a few letters. Please ask Master Mialian to send it to Xia Mazone. Friends like Chiljiping and Crazy Kai. It was a sacrifice he made in his old days. Gentleman's friend. Flags are like water. Ask for it. 1,000 miles away. Ask why. Generous and delusional. Hua Zed Chunmin, full moon. If anyone is interested, can be copied. Every time I copy these few sentences, there is peace in my heart. At that time, Master Miao Lian was by his side, letter in hand. Grief comes. But the mage in red said calmly, "When I get there, you can send these letters dated on the field. The person who receives it will understand." On the afternoon of October 10th, 1942, the mage in red wrote on the back of a letter, his last is the intersection of 4 words, compassion. Compassion is to pull out the suffering heart of all sentient beings. I hope that there will be great joy in the world with the sound of the piano. 3 days later, the red-clothed mage originated in Chuanzhou in his evening room. Before dying, he told Master Miao by his side not to be sad. "Gudyan will come as soon as he goes. I don't know if he has come again. Matter is immortal. I believe that some things will never go away." He was a monk for 24 years. Painter Crazy K says I've been on the move for 24 years. He has always been. Crazy Kai has an unusual fate with the teacher. He used to be the great ancestor of Mr. Li. Then, on Mad K's 29th birthday, he also worshipped Master Hongyi as a converted teacher. This is double fate. The longest time the two have been together in their lives. It was Hongyi who lived in Fenzekai's house for a month. 1 month, it became the wellspring of Toyoko Kai's rich echo. 2 people are always talking in the dark. Keep talking about the gray sky outside the window. Lay out the all-black chest of the mage. Then the teacher took a break. Crazy Kai's Yuan halls lie down. It came at that time. Under the witness of the mage in red, Feng Zikai grabbed twice at the offering table. It's an atom twice. Hence the name Yuan Tang. During the anti-Japanese war, Feng Zikai fled all the way. Yuan Thang migrated with him. When learning the news of the teacher's vitality, Feng Zikai is preparing to move his family to TUCHANCHINH. And for a moment he was silent. Did not make any representation. Later, Feng Zikai said about my golden and crying. On the day he is certain to die, I have already done it silently in my heart. Yuan Enshe lived in the world for a long time. I know I can't get it. This piece of heart. Who really knows? After the victory of the anti-Japanese war, Feng Zikai came to Hongyi's former residence in Nenputsu Temple. I saw the willow that the teacher once held straight. And when he got home, he painted a picture. He offered a speech and said that today I have come and you have gone. Massa Willow. This painting, I also witnessed the deep friendship between the two people. He will not dissipate because of the loss of life. It was recorded in that Hushang collection. To this day, can be seen by us. Finally, we come back to the farewell song. For Li Shitong, he is just a brief episode in his creative career. But the reason why it can be passed down for hundreds of years, impress so many people, maybe it is because of those real fates, experiences and emotions, all recalled in this short tune. So, How did this song come into being? We have to go back. The era he lived in? Late Qing and early Ming storm? The Li family's wealth was wiped out. But this is more than just the collapse of a family. That's the sound of an entire era breaking together. His good friend Su Huanyuan, you may remember, he used to be a leading figure in the literary world in Shanghai. Personable. Brilliant. Under the impact of the times, his arrival had fallen quickly. The mansion was taken to pay off the debt. Life suddenly falls. Before leaving, he specially came to bid farewell to Li Shatong. Storyteller, our family is broke. Li Shatong stood there and watched his friend leave. At that moment, he wrote the farewell song. Even if the parting words written to Su Huanyuan, it's like doing it for yourself. Wave goodbye to the past life. More like for that era that is about to go away. Sing a song of departure. Our lives. There's always a time to say goodbye. No matter how much you cherish, how reluctant, everyone must be at the crossroads of their destiny. Make decisions for yourself. Someone once said, every time there was a world war, Hess's book will sell again. I think the reason why the Red Mage is so memorable, same reason. In chaos and confusion, people will long for a wise, awake existence, longing for someone to light the way. And those who truly possess ultimate wisdom often emits a kind of light. Tower of personality strength. The world has been physically cleared, but you and I are still wearing vests. Intersection walk. May this book be available to you when you need it most. Give you a beam of inspiration. May you learn to say goodbye to the past gently. May your path always be bright